okay to disrespect me because I returned with a smile and I took a beating and I was willing to forgive. But I've been learning I don't need to put up with this nonsense. Zatoichi, Paul, Tommy, Flow State, Snafu, Margot, all those people. They've never been an intimate part of my experience. They're no relation to me. I don't care what they think. Not anymore. I want to help people. I see that the people who are attacking me and doubting me, they'd feel a lot better if they changed their opinions. But hey, I can just offer me.
Well, I think it's important too that like we get to know, we're getting to know each other, and that's why we're here out of curiosity. I want to know more about Jack. I want to interact more and be known. And a moment ago, you said that too, that people are seeking out this new internet experience, this panel verse, because they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to interact. They want to have value. And a lot of and you mentioned as well, you followed that up with, some of them are in self denial about this. And Zatoichi or whatever his name was, I don't know if he's still here or not, but just a moment ago, he was exhibiting those traits, having come on and say, I didn't listen to the monologue. I'm just here to, see what I can offer you, pull you into my panel and maybe mediate some discussions between you and another. I don't know. It seems like a clear agenda. Sun Tzu in The Art of War says that if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you'll win 1,000 battles. If you know your enemy, but you don't know yourself, you're probably going to lose quite a few of them. And if you don't know either yourself or your enemy, then you'll lose every single battle, right? And so, yeah, this knowing thing is important. And I'm not saying everything's a battle. I mean, obviously. But the art of war does play some part. Well, it plays a huge part in what's going on here. Because I've come to realize that you're not here to battle with people. You're here to grow conversations and bring a message of positivity forward that is, and with an intention of changing the world, right? But that's not what a lot of the folks here are doing. I'd say, good 60% of them are here to battle and fight for the breadcrumbs that are available here on the YouTube. Some of them are very overt about it. Like if we think about Flow State, for example, his number one thing is I'm here to grift and get all the money me, right? And that's an easy thing to understand, so we know where we stand with him when he shows up.
Absolutely true. He's
here's another man.
Who he is. Yeah. Welcome, El Perro. How are you, brother?
I am well.
That's interested in spiritual growth and fellowship, I believe.
Well, you were just speaking about Sun Tzu, and he's one of my favorites. I did a series on Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I still got to finish it up. I'm not quite finished with it yet, so bear with me on that. Sorry it's taking so long, but he brings a lot of philosophy to real life in his thoughts about how people interact during times of war and peace. And to me, it seems that he was more honorable towards his men, and he wrote The Art of War as a precipice to show that honor, that he didn't want to lose a single one of his men. He did not want war, but he knew the principles that if you were going to go to war, it would be things to make your opponent think you're strong when you're weak, to make them think you're weak when you're strong, that the deception itself was the very weapon that you use to defeat somebody that is being deceptive against you. Iron sharpens iron. Deception.
Yeah, and once you learn it, you can see it playing out with a lot of different folks, right?
Excuses for war are excuses for war. War leads to war. Deceit leads to deceit. I'm of the belief that the truth is what is important. I get what you're saying, and I don't mean to take the ideas out of context because I get it. It's the truth. Battle is deception. That's the whole key. You overcome the deception, you win the wars. You no longer have the battles. The key is to learn how to flow and accept and trust. And people don't trust because they are carrying wounds. And people wear their wounds like a badge. We're here to change this world and to bring healing forth, not wars.
Right. You're doing something different than that. And that's unusual. And that's good because you're doing you, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, Jack, is some people believe that deception is paramount. And I just spent the last week doing a series of videos on education and knowledge. And, it's important that no matter what, we teach our younger generation how to see those lies and not put up with them, to stand the ground on truth. And that's where we're failing our manning our post. We have allowed and learned to put up with so many little lies ourselves. We're willing to let our children go through it. And that's a sad state.
Brother, that stack of little lies you're talking about, that's what I'm referring to in this comfort zones. Seeking clarity over comfort. People have gotten too damn comfortable with the wars and the corruption of our day-to-day society. How are people so numb and comfortable when there's so much obvious work to be done? I mean, I used to be that way, so I understand, but I feel in my heart a desperation. It's time for the world to wake up, stop these bullshit arguments, particularly help me end the bullshit arguments in my personal life. That could do tremendous things for me and my career, my opportunities to succeed.
Absolutely. That's the foundation of living a good life, is when it's the ultimate duty of the public servants to be aware of these things that are happening and report them, yet they're not. Why is that? It's because the common man isn't. This shit only happens because good men don't do anything about it. We have to learn how to start being good men.
That's it. And I heard it said somewhere, I didn't fully understand the idea, but it makes sense. What is a bad man but a job for a good man? That's it.
And you're on a platform too that you are a microcosm of the greater movement. So people, they sometimes say, hey, you're just here talking about it on the internet. But that's something. That's generating vortices of energy and thought that people will either pick up on or discount, and they can either get with the message or, some come just to oppose it. I wanted to follow that up. I had a second question. So one was with Tommy, and I think we've put that to some clear resolution. If Tommy shows up and we talk, I'd like, if and when, he does show up and we talk, I'd like him just to take a breath and chill. And if we can, establish not a debate, but a conversation, we articulate ideas back and forth and ask questions and have sensitivity to each other. Why do you feel that way? Okay, maybe I can grow from that. This kind of thing, an actual spiritual conversation. That's what I'm looking for. And that's why I always thought that that's what you're doing as well. But the second one I wanted to follow up was breakfast tacos. So he came in the chat and he said, oh, Frank Monday said he's had prophecies or whatever, premonitions, and he invited me over.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your experience? Because I know you went over there a couple of times too. What has been your experience with him, and how do you feel about like his value that he's bringing to the whole idea of living without fear? And because I don't know if you saw my interview over there, right? He said, "Come over, I'll interview you." Okay.
How did that?
So
go?
have you thought? Yeah, not great. Well, how would you think an interview like? Okay, I'll just give you the basics of it. I thought it went okay for about an hour. and he brought people on to ask questions. And his ultimate surmise in the end is that he was going to try to change my stance from believing in spirituality and God, and then prove that I'm mentally unstable because I do believe in God, and that there's no justification for believing in God, and that in order to be correct, I would have to conform to two things that he holds to be true. Number one, I have to be an atheist, and number two, I have to agree with his concept of natural philosophy, or to be a naturalist, I believe. So yeah, at the end, I just said, "Oh yeah, I thought you wanted an interview. I'll see you later. I'm out of here." I went about 2 hours with him though, about an hour and a half, hour and 45, something like that. But once it just turned into a battle of, hey, you need to see a psychiatrist, you need mental help. Maybe we should have you committed. This kind of thing. Like it turned into a very insidious type of like insinuations of, well, if you've had a spiritual experience, maybe you're unstable, maybe you're hallucinating. Maybe there's something wrong with your brain, this kind of thing. So I thought that was a little bit arbitrary.
His channel is an atheist channel, and he promotes his anti-theist views quite openly. So I wasn't sure. I hoped you were aware of that and that you weren't going in blind. I mean, you
told me that. Yeah, you preempted it. You knew what was going down.
Well, my experience with him, though, is that he has been respectful, at least with me. I've seen him get rude with other people, but with me, he's always been very respectful, and
he was mostly respectful. Yeah, he didn't necessarily get rude, but like when I picked up immediately on the insinuations and I interlocuted around them, circumlocuted it, and made it more a challenge of intellect, then he went into looping the same question like in many, many different, like at different angles. And it started to irritate him because it became apparent pretty rapidly, I thought, for everyone present, that in a battle of intellects, he was definitely coming unprepared, right? And unarmed. He was like a 2-year-old in his diaper up against the unfathomable mind of Frank Monday. And I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying, I'm probably twice his age, and I've been in battles like this before. And it's like, here's the thing that atheists, or sometimes people who very narrowly define their views, don't get, is that a lot of us, like me, you, the other guys at our age, we went through many of these paradigms already, and we found them hollow and lacking. I don't know, how do you feel about that? Like, you went through the battle of God, no God, right? And found yourself godless in life. And that didn't seem to serve you well, right?
No. I've been learning, though, that it's not my job to change minds. It's not my job to transform hearts. My job is to be with the people that I can encounter, to try and communicate the truth that I have learned in the most clear fashion I am capable of. And that truly means without emotions, right? Without the anger, without the sadness, without the frustration. Because it seems the people I've spoke to, they get caught up in the emotions and their disagreements in words. And I think that's what we entertain a lot of on these online debates. People argue about words and not necessarily principles, not really the spirit of the law. People argue about the letter of the law, right? Trying to be right and to compete. And Frank, I have no doubt you were very well prepared for that conversation. I hope you had fun with the experience, and I hope that at least a few minds heard your name and maybe go over and subscribe to you. So
Yeah, and that's the upshot. That's the upshot of it all, too, right? And I think setting the foundation is important in the panel verse. Like we clearly define things. Are we here to have a conversation in fellowship? Are we here for an interview? Are we here for a debate? Are we here for resolution? Right? Are we here for a judgment? All of these things, they seem to, like in that situation, it just became unclear to me that it was an interview any longer. You know, it had turned into a debate. And not only a debate, and rather than a debate of ideas, it turned into an indoctrination, a bamboozling. You know, here we have these firmly established boxes. You've got to join them. You know, you got to go along to get along. You have to conform and let go of your God, let go of your mental illness. And it's like, okay, well, that's not how you defined it in the beginning. You said, I'd like to interview you. And if it's meant to be an interview, then it should be done in the spirit of an interview. I believe. I mean, once you move the goalposts, then it becomes something else entirely different. So I think that's unfair. And we shouldn't be unfair with each other. We should be sincere and genuine, you know, and seek out love, light, and truth, and living without fear, baby. What's up? Holy cows, man. Jack, how are you? I know you wanted to make this one short, so we're approaching the hour. Are you going to go a little longer or no?
I'm thinking I'm comfortable either way. I'm comfortable shutting it down, but I'm also all right sticking around. The idea is, to try and share value.
Yeah. Has anybody else showed up? Because I'm happy just to sit back and relax and watch to see who appears and wants to chit chat about it all and make resolutions. Because I'm always here for resolutions. You know, I know there's a couple of guys out there gunning for me already. I got Tommy a little bit, you know. Not much. I don't think I'm not his main target. You are. And of course there's Steven. I think those are the only two. And then Cage kind of doesn't really like me that much because I don't entertain his abusive tendencies. But you know and again, I don't want to analyze people. That's not my position. I want to share the love and joy of living and being in the moment. So what about you? What's new with Jack? I did listen to the monologue. I've seen what's been going on, and there's maybe some things I've missed over the last couple of days.
Well, I actually feel better prepared. It's be impossible to see if that's true or not, but I feel better prepared for anyone who wants to try and explore my knowledge. Anyone who wants to try and get clarity in their life, anyone who's feeling lost and confused, anyone who's looking for a direction, you know, more joy, more value, more fulfillment in their lives, more health. You want more of something in your life? Give me a call. I've been learning. I feel that I could probably help some people accomplish some pretty amazing things, but not when I spend my time with people who, like Zatoichi, like Tommy, like others who just want to use me and offer me nothing. Frank, did you see what I was asking Zatoichi? I was simply asking him to explain why was he here? Why should I be grateful that he clicked the link to show up? That's what I was trying to understand from him.
Well, yeah, like Alpero, you know, in his study of the art of war, Zatoichi has a clear agenda. Like he launched his first foot in was the promotion of his channel, and by interacting with you, he's here to seek the value of maybe bringing over more viewers and upping his numbers. You know, it's numbers. Because some people, that's what they're in it for. And in part, I come over too. I'm looking for interaction and growth as well. But that's not my primary objective. I only call in if I have a primary objective that I help in some way can help bring you value. And at the same time, I can grow spiritually from it. Because I'm always willing to concede as well. You know, I don't have my shit totally together. I mean, I got 90% of it, but I sought you out because a part of your message spoke to me. You know, I've been through some similar things, but then at the same time, I still need growth and there's things I can learn from you. And so that's why I come.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, and what I'm doing is I am sharing a lot of the things I'm learning. As I'm learning and discovering some of these observations, while I'm putting them into practice in my life, I'm trying to share with others. I really don't know why people have assumed that I deserve what I've been receiving, but the question that is reminded of for all of us, that if we want to live a true life, we must seek clarity over comfort, must look past the comfortable answer in order to find the uncomfortable truth. And the uncomfortable truth is every single one of us can do better. Every single one of us have been holding ourselves back from greater lives. If that wasn't true, we would not have the problems in this world that we do. There's too many people who have gotten comfortable with low standards. And I'm telling you, it's time for us to open up our minds and see what is really happening in this world and stop believing that we can't do things. When we convince ourselves, when we settle for excuses, that's what it is. When we give power to anger and fear, we will find shame because we'll allow those excuses to be real, and we'll know our guilt. We'll know that we accepted an excuse that was not powerful. I've done these things so many times, and this is why I know it's time for our world to change. Cage, welcome back to you.
Thank you for having me.
Blessings to you, brother. You've learned a lot of this stuff as well.
I have, yeah.
You've devoted your time and mental energy into learning it. And what I suggest is there's another step for us all. It's time to bring the wisdom into our heart so that we can stop living in the mind, start living in the heart. Because when you live in the heart, you don't have to remember. You can trust that the truth will be recalled, that you have a healthy relationship with the truth. The truth is there for you, just like you are there for the truth.
Yeah, to add to that, well said, Jack. But yeah, like in alchemy, right? It's salt, sulfur, and mercury, which could be represented as like thought, emotion, and action. Once you have those three things in amalgamation working together, then you can actually have real change with yourself, and then therefore have an outward expression of that in the world. Right? Thought, emotion, and action. Salt, sulfur, and mercury. At least in the
Beautiful.
alchemy. Yeah.
It
Yeah, it's
makes
true.
sense.
He brings forward a good point that we need balance in our alchemical formation. It's not just about controlling the emotions. We also have to feel them, but it's also about, logic and reason. But then logic and reason also has to be balanced with intuition and creativity.
And actions.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to
So
you have to make an action in order to have those things come together in the world, right? Which you've been doing, like as I see it, we all been doing it. And action is simply just going on, like speaking, like what you do all the time, right? That's an action. You're showing up, you're doing something.
the key that the yogis knew is to truly bring balance to the mind, emotion, and being. It's in the stillness. You must pause. Practice the pause and sit with the silence, even and especially when it's uncomfortable. When you can sit with the uncomfortable in silence and still feel strong and still feel whole, that's when you know you're mastering something. Some of the stories of the yogis I've heard, they put themselves into uncomfortable positions and stay that way for weeks, months, years. They'd inflict pain upon their body so that they could strengthen their mind and overcome the pains of the world. I'm a pussy. I test myself in the cold shower, right? That's what
what are
I.
you talking about?
Well, that's where I press myself in discomfort. Turn the water ice cold, and you get that. You
You
get
know,
that refreshing.
personally, what I like doing is I like making fires when it's like negative 40 degrees Celsius, and you can't even have a bottle of water or it'll freeze on you. You got to put it in your jacket. And yeah, and then I make a fire, and then I make like a little, make something to eat on the fire. Yeah, I like stuff like that. Connecting back to nature.
Well, this life is an adventure. There's many ways to escape and overcome, but there really is no way to avoid. There's no way to avoid the problems that are in our lives. There's no ways to avoid the problems that are in our future, but we don't have to carry around problems forever. And that's exactly what people do when they carry their unhealed trauma. They're carrying problems with themselves everywhere they go.
A baggage, right? It's like an emotional baggage. Yeah, that doesn't mean you go and try making somebody. Okay, if you have that, and you recognize everybody has that. Why put that onto other people? Why not do the best you can to alleviate that for the people around you? That probably help your own thing. Right? We all go through it. Like for me, it gives me a sense of purpose to help people with no expectation in anything in return. People are gonna, move a certain way no matter what you do. And as they say, no good deed goes unpunished. I
Yeah,
found that
I've
to
heard
be
that.
true. Yeah.
Some mimetic things though are not necessarily like they may sound true and they may sound like wise proverbs, but sometimes they're just mimetics that confuse us. That one in particular, no good deed goes unpunished. It seems to be a little bit insidious.
At the time, but then later on, eventually, you're gonna get rewarded for it.
Right. We have to be good to people and we have to try to bring goodness forward because Lao Tzu wrote in the Tao Te Ching that the man of goodness is good to those who are good, but he's also good to those who are not good because the nature of his being is goodness. And that's what I found in Jack oftentimes that he's striving for, that he treats people who treat him like shit, he still gives them a chance time and time again to seek reform and seek spiritual growth. And thank you for sharing my channel,
I
Jack.
never talked to you before. Welcome. Yeah, I'd like to talk to you. I've never seen you before, but you're hosting these debates. I've noticed here. Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, man. I actually came up here because Frank massively misrepresented what happened the other day.
Did
So,
I?
Now you're bringing up something.
I invited him
topic.
to. So let me share
Let
my
him-
side of this story
please.
because I feel like I tried to help an unrighteous individual and he's slandering me here. So what happened was I did invite him to an interview. He said he was a
What kind of
prophet on
game are
your
you
channel.
playing, Mr.
And
Talk?
I thought that was interesting, right? I'm like, okay, this guy thinks he's a prophet. Let's talk about that. And then I find out more that he's a magician or witch or wizard or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, dude, he's practicing like magic and this type of thing. He's seen spirits and ghosts and these spirit immortals, stuff like that. He's seeing ball lightning and which is just a natural phenomenon, and saying that it's like ghosts and stuff. I see a gentleman that is
I didn't say
so
ball lightning was
entrenched
ghosts.
in his unrighteousness.
You misrepresented me
that
already.
his
You
mind
misrepresented.
is
Please.
that his mind is falling for its own tricks. And I pointed out to him 5% of the population in the world hallucinates randomly. There's data on this. And that it's not normal to see spirits and that type of thing. And in fact, everything that we have would suggest that those things don't exist. And so, as politely as I could, I asked him if he had some type of medical help in that area, in the mental area, or if he thinks that he might want to seek assistance. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose.
Right, you're not a
stuff,
doctor.
But from what I heard, it sounds like there's either some type of hallucination going on,
From what
or
you wanted
like
to hear.
that, and that if that was happening to me, I would, and I thought it was real, I would want somebody to tell me to go seek help.
I didn't say I thought it was real.
Here, please. I can understand both sides, because I have a mind that is truly open to the mystical and to the spiritual. To those who have experienced the mystical and the spiritual, to those who want to cling to atheism, they find unrighteousness in that as well. Because when we know that people are wrong, well, we know. And it seems like what I do know is that Frank has studied a lot of different wisdom, and this wisdom has been around throughout time for a reason. And the modern society, in its materialistic views of science, it does not understand spirituality. So the appeal to the masses, my friend, appeal to the norm, yes. There have been people misdiagnosed as having mental disorders because they have gifts of tuning in to the vibrations of the world.
That's
Well,
a
I'd like to correct the
dangerous
record if I
mentality
may,
to
Jack.
have,
May I
Jack.
respond? Yeah, whatever. Breakfast
Dangerous
Thomas. Can I respond to him to correct the record a little bit and give you a little more perspective? Is that okay with you, Jack? Because he misrepresented me quite a bit. I mean, I'm asking you. Is that okay? Yes or no?
Well, he felt you misrepresented him as well.
I didn't, and I can do it very briefly.
All right.
Okay. Number one, most of my stories got truncated. Number two, I said that I preempted everything with that I'm endeavoring to use the scientific method and a multi-model approach, meaning that I'm not assuming causation to any of these things, and that I'm allowing openness that it may be this, that, or the other thing. But he took an interview and turned it into an intervention where they tried to fit me into an atheistic box of naturalism and to discount all of my ideas. And then when it came to push came to shove, then he was unwilling to concede any ground in my direction and said that I had mental health problems. So that's just disingenuous.
I could see that happening. This is one of the real aspects of the online realm, is that content is content. And it's real easy to take a moment and see the opportunity for content, particularly if it's in line with what he's been doing. But Frank, I heard your description, and I can trust in what you're saying, that you're using a scientific approach to what others have been sharing. You're looking through to cut through the nonsense and just to truly find, kind of like an experimentation, finding the truth.
Jack, there was an issue with that too. So we tried to, several of us tried to elucidate to him how the scientific method works and that it provides.
Is that how interviews work?
Specific and repeatable. Well, you were saying that you're using, and you even said it now, that you try to do it with the scientific methodology.
Okay.
Scientific methodology would provide relatively precise and repeatable results. And it would have a methodology that you can do to do it, and you would be taking down data. You said all this stuff happened, and instead of providing photos or videos or anything like that, you only had excuses to.
Dude,
not only excuses, I have records. I told him I have records. I have detailed records.
Yes.
And I'm not, Jack, I'm not the only, wait, give me a second. I'm not the only one doing this. There are many magicians engaged in the operations of magical endeavors that take records, and we compare notes, and we do it in a scientific method. We have peer review. There's historic record. It's one of the oldest sciences on Earth, and it's where all of our other sciences come from. Chemistry, aeronautics.
Okay. Please. What's the resolve?
If it was scientific, he could provide specific methods to repeat the results, right?
Well, how about this?
Evidence.
How about this? Let's bring it back into the context again. Was he there to defend himself and to present the case, to persuade everyone to think like him? No. He thought he was joining a panel to be able to talk about what he's been exploring. That's maybe different to what the panel has. But
man to man,
In the
I
spirit
told
of an
him
interview.
it
Fuck your man
seemed
to
like
man.
He was.
You were disingenuous.
It seemed like there was some type of mental issue going on there causing this to happen. And in my position, I feel it necessary to make him aware of what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing in having that discussion.
Mm-hmm. And if you're wrong,
That he could provide the scientific methodology to replicate
well,
his
how about the
magic or whatever's going on.
how about the unexamined, right? Undiagnosed. You wanted to defame his credibility, accusing him of insanity. You did it here, to defend what you did last night. That's what I heard from you. People have been calling me crazy, dismissing me for a long time. I've got a little softness in my heart for people that have to deal with that. So, Taco, I respect you, but I don't know what's going on here, man. And Frank, I put you in the back because you're a better man than to raise up and argue. Okay?
I was simply being truthful and honest with him with what I was seeing in the context of the conversation. And I wanted to provide what input I could to try to help him.
I understand sometimes the truth can be offensive. But when people ignore the truth, that's also offensive. So
Exactly. And I feel very offended by the fact that he just ignored the truth and came on here and misrepresented the position when he rage quit from the conversation instead of addressing it more directly.
okay. And if he was genuinely surprised, maybe, he didn't think clearly. Maybe he did
I
react.
may have caught him off guard, but I mean, we talked for another hour after the first time I said it, right?
Hey, you know what? Thank you for addressing it. Frank did share his version. I was glad that you were here to present your side. It seems there was misunderstandings, but this world of religion, politics, economics. Yes, Frank, you got modded. I told you it was because of your outburst. You're back up
Yeah,
now.
that's fine. No big deal. And no ill will towards you, Breakfast Tacos. Jack had told me that you're an atheist and a naturalist and you fit yourself into very neat little boxes, and I don't fit in those boxes. That's fine. That doesn't mean I'm crazy though. And that doesn't mean that you're crazy.
Also
It just
had
Hey,
stated,
can I finish my statement, please? Thank you. Don't interrupt me.
okay.
Mod God him if he interrupts me, right? Like, I want it to be chill. I didn't go over there thinking that it was going to be a spirit of debate. I thought it was going to be a spirit of interview. And so when you started challenging my experimentation methods and stuff like that, I have all of those notes, but that wasn't what I was prepared to bring forward. I told you from the offset that all I could provide you with was experiential evidence and my analysis of that evidence. So I felt like you were disingenuous in the way that you guys tried to corner me. That's all. No big deal. You can do whatever you want with that.
I felt like I asked very fair and reasonable questions, and I was very fair the whole way through.
Of course
and
you
I tried
do.
to approach you about my thoughts in regards to the spirit stuff in a
Well, yeah, don't bring up
as-
people's
as
mental health because you're not a
non-confrontational
doctor.
way as I could, without trying to diagnose you, but make you aware of what I'm seeing and hearing.
And I told you I speak to a therapist, I go to a psychologist, and I've been to psychiatrists, and it's not your position to try to give me a mental health analysis. That's not why I'm on YouTube. And that's not why you're on YouTube, right? You can offer me medical advice, really?
I'm here to save unrighteous theists, Frank, and I saw an opportunity
Good luck with
to
that.
save you. You're a lost sheep, my brother in atheism.
I'm no sheep, man. I'm a fucking dragon.
Okay.
All right. Tell you what, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss this here, but I think it's time for me to start wrapping up.
All right, thanks for your time, Jack. And I'm here for you, man. And it was just one of those encounters where things play out the way they play out. Again, if I invited someone for an interview, it'd be an interview, not an intervention, not a debate. And I just think that we should be genuine, only do what we say, and only say what we know we can live up to.
I'm somebody that thinks that people shouldn't lie. I really don't like it when people lie. And there was another thing that you said when you came up here, and I'll be quick because Jack wants to close it out. But you said that I was trying to fit you into like an atheist box or something. I was doing no such thing. I never attempted to attack your religious position or try to deconvert you. I simply saw what was going on. I think I saw what was going on, and I made you aware of my opinion. Right? That was it. At no point in time did I ever mention atheism, I don't think, besides saying that I'm an atheist and this does not sound convincing to me or something of that nature, right? At no point did I ever even run my atheist presuppositional apologetic script that deconverts 37% of the people that I run it on, right? At no point did I attack your Christianity. I think I might ask you if you were a Christian, but I didn't attack your position there. I was simply talking with you about the stuff that you had told me. Thank you for allowing me to chat, Jack, and provide my side. I'm trying to be reasonable about it because he did lie when he came up.
I heard that. I know. And I can't correct anybody. I was not there. I don't know the details of the record, but I do understand human behavior very well. And I know that we have amazing things set up in our future. I'm going to do some final words, brother. I'm going to flow into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. To all those who joined, sincerely thank you to Frank, to Cage, El Perro, to Breakfast Tacos. Sincerely, thank you. The topic today and what I am and wanting to share is some of the newer ideas, some of the newer inspirations that I've found helpful in my life. And these ideas of seeking clarity over comfort. Just pointing out what's obvious, man. Illusions are deceptive. And when people walk with illusions, the false belief that they know, well, then we end up with all sorts of chaos and problems and disagreements. But there's nothing that prevents human beings from finding agreement. Nothing at all. There is nothing that prevents human beings from finding agreement with each other. Nothing at all. Why it seems so difficult for human beings just to agree to have conversations with one another? It's really fascinating to me. But brothers and sisters, I'm bound and determined. My goals, as I said, I am a simple man and I believe in simple ways. And my simple goal, my explanation of following Jesus, it's real simple. Seek to bring more fun, more joy, and more love to those who are already perfect on their own. And you are, and I am, and we are making it on our own. We're discovering who we can become by what we can accomplish, by what we can do. But if you think all you can do is stay in your little comfort zone while the rest of the world is crumbling around you, well, hello, my dear friend. Give me a call. You can do more. We can all do more. And sometimes we just need to be reminded of that we're not done yet. Some of us, I don't know if we ever got started, but life will lead us until tomorrow. Until then, till we return, thank you again. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Peace.